Hello. Today I'll be discussing Chopin's Prelude in D flat major, Opus 28, number 15th, and this prelude is also known as the Raindrop Prelude. Um, this prelude belongs to a set of 24 preludes he composed, one for each of the 12 major keys and one for each of the 12 minor keys. And a fun fact about this prelude specifically is that out of the 24 is the longest. So we're going to divide this presentation into three sections. The first part is the overview, and we're going to look at the piece as a whole. Then the second part will be the detail analysis, where I'll be discussing phrase level form as well as themes, motives, and harmony. And the third section will be my critical assessment of the piece. So in this first section, we're going to look at the piece as a whole. So I'm going to play the piece for you to listen to it and familiarize yourself with it. And then I'm going to talk about the form, and then I'm going to break it a little bit more into detail about the phrase structure. Now that you have listened to the piece, I hope it gave you a better understanding of the overall form of the whole piece. And as you notice, I divided the piece into three sections: the A section, the B section, and the A prime section. And I decided to call the form a compound ternary because the B section is completely different and independent from the A section. Then after the B section, the material from the A section comes back with a little something different at the end, and that is why I called the third section A prime. Also, if you notice, I divided the A section into three subsections: the A subsection, the B subsection, and the A subsection. And I decided to call this form rounded binary because the A theme is stated, then the B section is completely different, and the exact A theme comes back. So as you can see on the diagram, we have some Kaplan themes, and we also have some combinations um, of different fragments from these themes. In the A section, uh, which is in D flat major, we have, like I mentioned before, three subsections. And the first A subsection is in D flat major, and I called it a period because we have four measures of an antecedent ending with a half cadence and four measures of a consequent ending with a perfect authentic cadence. Then for the B subsection, um, we are shifting the tonal center from D flat major to tonicizing A flat minor and modulating to B flat minor. And I call this a hybrid number 2, which is an antecedent ending with a half cadence for four measures, followed by a cadential grouping for A measures. And the reason why the cadential grouping is bigger than the antecedent is because it has a cadential echo in the middle. So after the cadential echo happens, this B subsection finishes in a perfect authentic cadence in the B flat minor tonality. Then we come back to the A subsection in D flat major, and we think that Chopin is going to make it the exact same way as the first A subsection, and it's going to be a period with a four measure antecedent and a four measure consequent, but he doesn't. So instead of ending it with a perfect authentic cadence, he ends it with another half cadence, which doesn't make it a period, but now we have two antecedents. And the second antecedent is the one that connects us to the B section. Now for the B section, it's in C sharp minor, which is the parallel minor. And it was a bit difficult for me to sort out because of the harmonic sequence that it has. There's not a lot of change in the chords. Chopin goes from 1 to 5 throughout this piece as a whole. So I really couldn't make anything out of Kaplan's theme because everything was half cadences. I also decided to group the phrasings of this section into A measures based on a four measure basic idea and a four measure contrasting idea. And I did that because I just felt that it gave a better flow and bigger picture of the phrase line. So measures 29 through 44 are repeated exactly in measures 45 through 76. And notice that we have modulations from C sharp minor to E major. And then measures 77 through 84 are different because these measures are going to be the transition that are going to bring us back to the A prime section at 85. So when we arrive at the A prime section, we arrive in the home key back in D flat major, and we have an antecedent for four measures, and then we have a grouping of 10 measures based on a basic idea, and then a cadential idea, finishing with a coda followed by a perfect authentic cadence in the original key of D flat major. So like I mentioned before, part two is going to be detail analysis. And now we're going to go a little bit deeper into the piece. So I'll be talking about the structure of the phrases as well as the motives and the harmonies. So before I start talking about the alignment of this example with one of Kaplan's theme, I want to really go into the primary motive or the main motive of this section, which is the dotted A16th going to the half note descending. That is the theme that is heard throughout the A section. And as we can see, we have that in the basic idea. And in the contrasting idea is the same rhythmic motive, but now is ascending. Also, a big part of this piece is the pedal A flat, as we can see in green. And this pedal A flat creates the effect of a raindrop, which is why it is named after that. So now I'm going to talk about this specific example. And like I mentioned before, I called it a period. And as we can see, we have two measures of a basic idea followed by a two-measure contrasting idea. And it ends with a half cadence. As we can see, we have an A flat, C, G flat, and E flat, making it an A flat 7, which is the dominant in D flat major. And then we have a consequent of a basic idea, and then two measures, and then a contrasting idea of two measures. But Chopin resolves the exact same material from the antecedent into a perfect authentic cadence in D flat major. So now I will discuss this part of the A section where I really couldn't match it with any of the Kaplan's themes. And in this section, Chopin made us almost believe that this A subsection was going to be exactly as the first A subsection, but it is not. We start with a four-measure antecedent based on two measures of basic idea and two measures of contrasting idea, ending with half cadence, just like the first part of a period. Then, just like the beginning of the A subsection, we start with what it looks like an antecedent again, followed by a contrasting idea, ending with a half cadence again. So now we have two antecedents, and it doesn't really fit under any of the Kaplan themes. And when I saw this, I was surprised. The way he ended it, leaving suspense. So I just wondered if he did it on purpose to give the pedal A flat the importance to make the connection between the A and the B sections. So now I'll talk about the harmonic event which caught me by surprise. And this happened in the B subsection of the A section. And as we heard in the recording, the piece starts calm but in a major tonality. And as the B section approaches, all of a sudden we have a change of mood. And we can see in the score the appearances of several C flats, telling us that we are somewhere else other than D flat major. As I analyzed B3 as the first C flat appeared, it turns out to be an A flat minor chord, which is the minor 5 of D flat. To me, this passage sounded extremely temporary, and we can confirm that it's A flat minor by analyzing the chord in yellow, which is secondary dominant. It's an E flat 7 resolving to an A flat minor, or major 5 of minor 5. And then we then modulate to B flat minor. And here I feel that even though we moved from home, which in this case is D flat, the tonal center is more stable, leading us back to D flat major. And as well, we can check that the highlighted chord is an F7, which later resolves to B flat minor. Something else that was kind of unusual with this modulation happening was the cadential echo that happened after the resolving to B flat minor, giving us two extra measures to really finally resolve into a perfect authentic cadence. So now we have finally arrived to the final part of this presentation, which is the critical assessment. And in this section, I will give my personal thoughts about the piece, what I liked, what I disliked, and also striking harmonic features that were, that spoke to me a lot throughout this piece. So now I will tell you what I liked and disliked about this piece. And overall, personally, I love this piece. It's beautiful. Um, and something that I really, really liked about this piece was the half cadences that happened throughout the piece, because I think it made the listener agonize with the music, which I think was the purpose, the mood. And then finally, resolving at the very end, giving that perfect authentic cadence, a really satisfying quality for the listener. Um, and then, on the other side, it is not necessarily that I disliked it, but I think more surprises and different material in the B section would have been great. Chopin is really, really good at throwing curveballs harmonically when we least expect it. And I just feel that the B section held back from that. So now I will tell you about the most striking feature of this piece that spoke to me, and it was the pedal A flat in D flat major and the G sharp in C sharp minor. And I really, really loved how, even though we changed keys, we went from D flat to um, C sharp, it's parallel minor. Chopin really managed to make very smooth transitions when he connected the A section to the B section. As we can see on the bottom, the red squares were coming out of the A section with the pedal A flat. So this just ended in a half cadence. People are waiting for something to happen, and the A flat keeps going, and so we enter into the C sharp minor section, and so now it's a G sharp, and then the melody is on the left hand, and I think that effect really was what made the connection extremely um, seamless and effortless. Um, I thought that it was extremely well thought, and it was not only just to create the raindrop effect, but also the big part in the harmonic structure of this piece. And well, this is my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. Um, Thank you so much.